This week on After the Poll, we're going to be talking about Teen Titans Academy, Aliens, The Amazing Spider-Man, Stray Dogs, Taskmaster. Were any of them worth it? Let's discuss right now. Hey, all my webheads out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, I am your host, Mike Spider Slayer, always helping you make decisions of what comic books to buy, and today, guys, I'm bringing you another episode of After the Poll. That's right, fans, this is the series where each week I discuss with you 5 of the most anticipated books I was looking forward to reading, and giving you a suggestion if you should pass this book up, or if you should pick this book up. Alright guys, before we get started, why don't you consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell. And of course guys, stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can enter in my Road to 10K X-Men giveaway. Guys, you don't want to miss that because you can win these fabulous prizes. So let's get started with the first book we're going to be talking about today, and that is Teen Titans Academy Issue 1. Now we got a glimpse into the future of what happens to the Teen Titans or the Titans Academy in general in DC Future State, and this is the first issue launching that series. Now, I really want to like this book because I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. I love the original Titans. I actually liked the last version of the Titans that consisted of Kid Flash, Roundhouse, Crush, Amico, those characters like that. So being that we have these characters combined in Academy, I think it's kind of cool because you get your original Titans that actually are training the new recruits, and then you have your active Teen Titans, which I think is a cool concept. The way this first issue, though, delivered, it just didn't hit the mark, though, for me. But I am going to continue to give this book a try. So let's talk about the artwork. Artwork actually looks really good. I love the characters. I love their facial expressions. Starfire looks great. The Titans Tower looks, inspiring, like you want to be there, which I think is really cool as well. Facial expressions, like I said, are good. The action scenes, which little action that was in this title was really good. But the story itself seemed a little bit all over the place. They tried to cram so much into this first issue that as a reader, you feel like you're overwhelmed. You go anywhere from the introduction to the new characters, right? Trying to learn who they are, and all kinds of other little different plot points, like the Red X plot point, what's going on with the current Teen Titans, all the new recruits being, introduced, them interacting with each other. It was a title that was kind of all over the place, and again, it overwhelmed the reader. I guess the things that I got out of this particular first issue was, again, we get to see our active Teen Titans members, which they're still together. And we obviously know that our past Titans are the teachers of this academy. We get introduced to a new character by the name of Brick. He seems to be the one that's going to be maybe a major player in this book. All the other characters that were introduced weren't really fleshed out. And this all revolved around a birthday party for Dick Grayson, okay? And really, that's what I got out of it. Everything else was just, it seemed like it was there and unnecessary. Kind of a cool moment between Roundhouse and another kid in this book that's called Teddy Tube or Tiny or whatever his name is. I'm trying to see his name. I don't know. He's some kid that turns into a tube. Like, do I care about this kid right now? So I felt like for an introductory issue, I felt like for this first one, they could have done a more fleshing out of these new characters. I think that's my biggest problem with it. And hopefully this book doesn't continue to be like disjointed like it was, like all over the place, trying to cram everything in. that's the fine line that you have to balance when it comes to a book that's introducing so many characters. So we'll see what happens with Teen Titans. I definitely still pick this one up to see where it goes and see if it settles in a little bit. It might take some time, kind of like Strange Academy does. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, Webhead, so the next book we're going to be talking about is Alien Issue 1. Now, I've never been a huge fan of the Alien franchise. I mean, I respect it. I like the first movie. I loved Aliens. But when it comes to the comic books from Dark Horse, I never read them. But when Marvel acquired the property, I was like, all right, let's give Alien a try. Let's see what Marvel has to offer for this series. So Philip Kennedy Johnson is the writer. You get Salvador Larroca who does the artwork. There's not a lot of action, so you can't go by action sequences in this book, or you can't go by, seeing a lot of the aliens in this book because there's only 2 pages of them. So I wasn't really inspired by any of the artwork. It just felt like a little stiff. The only character that looked like a character that we're familiar with is obviously Bishop, and he's a therapist in this series. So what this book is about, it's about a security guard or whatnot that was in this particular space station, and he saved it from the aliens, and now he's retiring. And that's really all we know about this guy. We also know that he's sick and he's trying to reconnect with his son, but it doesn't go right. When his son comes to his house, he gets into this argument with him, and really his son is there to retrieve a specific file that's kept at his particular house. So him and his crazy little girlfriend can go up into this space station, go and invade it and try to retrieve all the files from it, and I guess destroy whatever is there. But when they go to the particular space station, they come across something interesting that's going on there. It has they're keeping these aliens in these tubes or whatnot. They're doing this study, and the next thing you wind up seeing is they kill the people that are protecting these tubes. Aliens are released on the space station, and that's really about all that happens. You get one of the face huggers there that are going to lay eggs in one of the characters, and that's all that happens. You get to see that, so that's kind of cool. So it looks like what's going to happen is you wind up going to see the dad might save the son in the space station. But what did I get out of this book? This book was very dull. The pacing was very slow. There was no action. Even the cliffhanger was all right, so this thing is laying eggs in some person's mouth, and you're going to get an alien that's coming out, and that's all that's going on. I would have loved seeing something different. There's a lot of mystery behind your main character, but I would have liked a different introduction to this book. I'm not saying that I'm not going to buy it. I'm not saying that this book wasn't bad in any way. It was just okay. And for an oversized issue, I would love to see just something a little bit more, maybe a little bit more action than just some therapy issues, right? Or therapy sessions. So it was just an okay book for me. I'm going to let you guys make the decision on this one. Because I think it's going to go back to if you're an Alien fan or not. So I'm still on the fence about this one. All right, next, let's talk about Stray Dogs issue 2. I love the first issue of this. I loved the dogs. I love the way they look. The artwork is amazing. They all look like Disney dogs or Disney characters. Like this one looks like a character from Lady and the Tramp. It's just looks like you are reading an animated movie, and that's what I love so much about this book. And I love the originality of it. I love the way dogs are thinking in here, and we get to see a particular dog by the name of Sophie, and you get to see all the introduction of the dogs here. And she thinks that the guy that adopted her murdered her. Okay, murdered her master, and it was her lady. That's what she says. And so throughout this book, we wind up seeing the master leaves with another particular dog, and they go into this secret room that they're not allowed to go to. And when you go into this room for the first time as the reader, you're like, oh my God, this guy is obsessed with women, and he'll do anything he can to get to them because it's just creepy. All he has is women's clothes and women's jewelry and shoes and things like that. So we can see that this master, there's something wrong with him. And what happens here is he winds up coming home as they're trying to do some investigation to find out what happened to Sophie's master. The current master winds up coming home and winds up putting the dog in a particular timeout. He like locks him in this like weird shed and doesn't let the dog out for quite a long time, as you can see. And you can see that he kind of abuses the dog, right? It's quite interesting to see these dogs trying to figure out this mystery. And by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue, you wind up finding that Sophie doesn't find a picture of her master or her lady. She winds up finding one of the other dogs' lady pictures. And it was quite chilling to say, because this guy seems like he's some kind of rapist or kills women and then he takes their dogs. So really interesting book. I can't wait to see where this series goes and how they solve this mystery, like how these dogs solve this mystery. So cool, really awesome book. I definitely say pick this one up. Unfortunately, with this issue, my dog Cookie did not make the back of the book yet, because if you send pictures of your dog, it can make it in the back of the comic. So I'm hoping to see that very soon. But this is a great book. Awesome read. All right. So let's talk about the next one. Let's talk about The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 62. So this one is called Wag the Cog. So basically what we get in the last issue of The Amazing Spider-Man is we see Spider-Man. He's in this new suit. It's a social media thing. People can watch him while he's fighting crime. They can make him make jokes of the day. They can take polls. They're in the point of view of Spider-Man. And, this is obviously making income for Peter Parker. He realizes in this issue, though, that it's maybe not the best idea to get so distracted while doing this, and he tries to save Cog because Cog is the one that is being targeted here. But he gets shot, and we wind up seeing it hits his collar that prevents him from growing, and he becomes like a big Godzilla creature. And then you wind up seeing Spider-Man having to save Cog, destroying the city and doing some extensive damage here. The artwork by Patrick Gleason is actually really good. I love the way he actually draws this new Spider-Man suit. It makes it tolerable. It doesn't make it look so robotic or bulky or whatnot. You get to see the continuing feud going on with J. Jonah Jameson and was it Robertson in here, and it was okay. It was decent moments with Mary Jane and all the other characters in here. We get to see Kingpin come face to face with Kindred and having a discussion with him and whatnot. And now all of a sudden, this is turning into Tombstone's daughter and Robertson's son, and them dating each other, and they are spying on the same situation that's going on, and they wind up seeing the son and the daughter actually meet up and they kiss, right? So this has been in the works a long time. If you read the series issues ago, we got to see that those two had a relationship with each other, and now you're gonna see old enemies come face to face once again because their kids have a relationship with each other. Does this strain their relationship even further, or does this draw these longtime enemies closer because their kids have a relationship with each other? I don't know. We'll see. All of a sudden, Spider-Man now has become a soap opera comic book. I can't say enough when it comes to The Amazing Spider-Man how disappointed I am with the series. We're tying up old story threads that happened issues and issues and issues ago, but there's just story threads that I'm not so interested in. It was an okay comic book, but again, tell your story, Nick Spencer. I just feel like we're stalling to get to a particular milestone issue, and just nothing is really exciting that's happening. There's nothing there that's just, really at stake. We got to see it a little bit with Kindred when Peter was being punished to death. a bunch of times, but that was 1 or 2 issues out of 62 of them, right? Otherwise, everything's just been a build-up, a stall. Nothing much has really happened that excites me. So I want to know in the comments below, what do you guys are thinking about Amazing Spider-Man at this point? I know I ask this quite often, but I'm very curious, right? And I can't wait to see, you know, once we get to issue 100, like, what is Spencer's end game here? So we'll see what happens. All right. And last but not least, guys, we're going to be talking about Taskmaster issue 5. This book is actually a solid series, and this has been the surprise series of, you know, what, the end of last year and the beginning of this year when it comes to Taskmaster. We're going to have Alessandro Vetti is the artist on this book. He's going to be the new artist taking over Thor, and I think this is an adequate replacement for Nick Klein. I think Nick Klein has been awesome, but we know he's leaving the book, and I love how he draws his characters. And again, if you have the right coloring in there, I think it won't miss a beat, right? But again, the artwork in this particular book is awesome. And when it comes to the conclusion of this particular series, I think Jed MacKay did it some great justice. We get to see a reason why he's so scared of Black Widow. Like, we've got to see him fight some of, you know, Hyperion, one of the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe, and he beat him. But he gives him a reason. He's saying, you know, some of the people I fight are stupid. You know, they use their brawn, but they don't think. They're not smart. They use their laser beams and things like that, and I can beat that. But when it comes to Black Widow, she actually knows how to fight. She knows how to battle, and that's what is so scary. She thinks of all contingencies, which is so true, and I love that scene in this particular book. And we get to see Black Widow blow up the SUV and try to stop Taskmaster, but right at the very last moment when Taskmaster is about to get his ass handed to him and killed, we find out that the whole reason why Black Widow is after Taskmaster was because Maria Hill was murdered. We find out that, of course, Maria Hill was not murdered, right? And I made that prediction on Comic Book Weekly, the live stream that I do. I made that prediction, and I said, you know what? Maria Hill is not dead, and she is the one that's responsible for this whole thing, because she's trying to find out this whole, Rubicon thing, that, you know, this thing back in Hammer, this weapon, and she had to trick Taskmaster to do this particular task in order to retrieve this weapon and to put it out of commission, which was awesome. So this book, at the end of the day, was a phenomenal read, a phenomenal series, and if you guys have not read it, I say definitely pick it up, read it. You won't be disappointed with it. The banter between Nick Fury and Tony Masters is awesome. So this is definitely probably one of my favorite books of the week so far. Pick it up, guys. Again, you won't be disappointed. So there you guys have it. There are the 5 books that I talked about this week that were on my most anticipated list. I want to know some of the books that you like the most. Do you agree with me on some of my opinions when it comes to these books, guys? And of course, if you want to be entered in that Road to 10K X-Men giveaway, just make a comment down below on what you thought your favorite comic book was. And this could be the video that wins you all those prizes. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll leave you more content right here. And this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. I'll catch you next time, guys.